Coach Ryan here, Authentic Alpha Holistic Life Coaching, going into seated posture, talking about posture when you're seated so you can feel more energized and less stiff, tense, and low on energy as you're doing different activities seated throughout the day. My biggest tip here, that when you're seated, is try not to stay in the same posture for too long, like fidgeting around, changing up your foot position, doing different things, depending on what you're doing while you're seated, right? Like if you're multitasking, if you're typing and typing while you're seated, or texting, or whatever it is, it's going to be a little bit more challenging to do other things. But if you're watching a video, if you're sitting there listening to someone, you can do different kind of fidgeting activities if it's not distracting, right, for others. You might be on a video call or watching something, and you can do different movements like these toe tappers, or up and down with your feet one at a time, to add some sort of movement to the seated posture. So you're moving and grooving. The one big thing that you want to think about is to try to get out of like a posture where gravity is just kind of weighing you down. Like if I'm in this more slouched posture, non-active posture, this can be very active as well. Like more of, if I'm breathing into this and my body's more structured, I can work my abdominals here. But you want to try to open up and sit a little bit taller. Once again, like it's the same thought of suspending your head from this string, that you're nice and tall when you're in the seated posture. More here. And once you're in this posture, you don't have to, the essence is not to be stiff here as well, and like, core tight. You want to be fluid, but still open here. So like, I like these, to help get some activation here, I like these side sits. So trying to, or booty lifts I call them, like lifting one cheek off at a time. And once again, I'm seated, but I'm doing something else while I'm seated. Maybe I'm waiting, maybe I'm watching something, maybe I can do this while I'm typing, right? I'm fidgeting around in some way, adding movement to this better alignment, as opposed to just kind of sunken down. And depending on the seat that I have, if there's armrests, what's the backrest like? If you're in a sofa, like there's gonna be different seats that are gonna challenge your posture. So you want to be able to activate a taller sit position when you can. Pull the shoulders down and back, and in this posture you just feel different in terms of overall mood, alignment, how your body feels, how gravity is pulling your body down into a more relaxed, open, energized posture. Right in here. You can do shoulder rolls from this position. So think about subtle movements, and fidgeting is the terminology that I use for it, but you can do different things from this more upright spine. So from here, like I can do things like this, where I'm actually getting ankle mobility, but this ankle mobility is giving me a massage in my calf at the same time as well. And I can use my hands to help me posture up my spine, and just engaging with my abdominals in this way. You know, I can add different movements here. So when we're in workflow, we tend to like be all consumed, mind within a device. And so we forget about what our body's doing. We want to keep this connection to our body and to this world as we're doing digital stuff. So the big thing that happens is our screens are kind of, not kind of, but generally lower than our line of sight. So if I have a screen that's more up on eye level, it lifts me up as well. And the phone is the big pull down for this. Yeah, like we're accessing our phone from here. And when I was doing vision training, one of the things that they reminded me of to help with posture and just, you know, engagement. So if you take this, a lot of people are doing this, excuse me, walking and head down, they don't see anything. So we want to be able to, if we have a device here that we're working on, bring it up and learn how to interact with it up here more. And that elevates my posture, and it changes my posture as I'm typing, as I'm interacting, sending a voice message. And then if I'm moving, This almost becomes an augmented reality space to where your phone is more here, and maybe you're looking at something and interacting more in the environment, so you're not eyes down and you're not engaged with what's going on in front of you. It's kind of near far vision training as we're moving. But as we're seated, once again, think about bringing the screen up a little bit higher. It'll elevate your posture, more upright. Focus on taking some movement breaks if you're seated for a long period of time. Finding different seats as well. So I like to do stuff from my chair. If I'm, like my office is, there's a bed in there as well, and sometimes I'll do stuff on the bed. And I will play with different seated positions as I'm watching, as I'm engaging. Maybe I'm stretching as I'm doing stuff as well. So it changes, my posture is changing dynamically, and I'm engaging my body, maybe giving myself some massage as I'm watching something, listening to something. These kind of activities that can help your posture and help your body recover. It's an active recovery throughout the day, especially if you've done any kind of training session. If you do that and you go and sit down for long periods of time, your body's going to start to tense up and get tight. Like the movement is aiding the recovery. So any levels of fidgeting or just changing your seated posture as best you can is going to help you feel so much better on a day-to-day basis. So I hope that helps. Not really any bullet points besides alignment. When you're seated, be aware of your posture, bring a screen more upright, and then fidget around, move, change your postures often. We have a tendency of doing the same thing in the same way all the time. Use your other hand when you're typing or texting or writing. If I'm using my iPad, I'm using different digits as well, so I'm not doing just the same thing over and over, and it feeds into this compensation, tension in the same spots. So be aware of all that. Give yourself these movement breaks throughout the day. 5 minutes of no screen, either seated, moving around, focus on your breathing, box breathing, or get up and move around and focus on feeling better and better and better, so your posture isn't, and then your mood is down. Like everything will follow into that. And your productivity, whatever you're doing on the screen or in a seated position, it's going to be, you're going to be not as present. So I hope that helps you. If there's any questions, comments, or feedback, please leave them below. Always happy to help. Thinking about how you can make your seated positions. There's all kinds of ways of stretching and chair yoga that you can use just to sit in different ways and use a chair as your tool to facilitate more movement, active recovery while you're engaged in screen activity or work activity, whatever it is, writing. Once again, find the best ways of the best postures of interacting with whatever is in front of you. Have a great day.